Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different, something I find, frankly, pretty fascinating. We're taking a detour into the world of publishing.
That's right. It's an unusual one. Our source material is the detailed front matter, all the publishing metadata, and the full first chapter of Nicholas Sparks's 2025 release, Remain.
So this isn't just a book preview.
Not at all. It's more like a masterclass in how a huge literary product gets packaged, how the very first choices are, well, engineered to create immediate tension. Our mission here is to treat this like an investigation.
Right, like literary detectives. We're piecing together not just the story, but what all the production details signal about the relationship between, the author, the publisher, and you, the reader, in today's world.
So let's start with the machine itself, the infrastructure holding this all up.
Yeah, what's immediately clear is just the sheer scale here. We know Remain is coming in 2025 from Random House.
Which is part of the massive Penguin Random House LLC umbrella. And the copyright holder is noted as Willow Holdings, Inc. So the creative property is legally anchored right from the start.
And the structure of the book itself, it sets some pretty high expectations. It's laid out right there for you, 31 chapters and an epilogue.
And that chapter count, it's not arbitrary. That's a promise of a substantial, comprehensive narrative, the kind of long emotional journey that his readers expect.
So it's about satisfying that investment of time.
Precisely. And if you look deeper into the front matter, you see these subtle ways the book is grounded in tradition. The sources list this huge catalog of past successes.
The Notebook, Dear John, message in a bottle.
Exactly. And some might see that as just marketing, but it's really a signal to the market. It establishes brand continuity, trust.
But does that run the risk of, anchoring this new release too much in the past? Or is it purely for reassurance?
I think it's both. For the publisher, it's about reliable expectation. For the reader, it gives you context. You know what kind of emotional landscape you're about to step into.
And they even list the production credits.
Which is so important. Naming the production editor, Kelly Sheehan, and the copy editor, Susan Brown, it reveals the human effort, the quality control needed to deliver this. It's not just one person. It's a whole team.
And there's a nice personal touch, the dedication to Teresa Park. We also see that little bit of academic rigor, the acknowledgement for reprinting a piece from the poems of Emily Dickinson.
Right, a touch of literary history. All these details, they establish this profound sense of, let's say, conventional literary reliability. But then it just leaps dramatically into the future.
Oh, you're talking about that clause.
Yes, the source includes this legally binding clause that is so deeply relevant to, well, all the anxiety in the industry right now.
The one that explicitly states, and I'm quoting here, that no part of this book may be used or reproduced in any manner for the purpose of training artificial intelligence technologies or systems.
It's a huge statement, a definitive stake in the ground by a major publisher.
It's way beyond just traditional copyright concerns.
Absolutely.
Yep.
This is about the systematic, automated consumption of creative property for machine learning. And by putting this right next to the ISBN, they're signaling that protecting content against AI is now a fundamental part of intellectual property rights.
It's a real insight into the future economics of being an author.
It really is. It reframes the whole thing as a guarded human creation.
Well, speaking of creation, let's shift from the business side into the narrative itself. Chapter 1 drops us right into a classic location, Cape Cod in May.
And the setting is Hetherington, which the narrator calls the quieter, smaller cousin to the nearby magnet of Provincetown. And choosing May is so important.
The promise of summer.
The promise of summer, a time of hope, but it's still a little cool. It's transitional, which of course mirrors the narrator's own emotional state.
And the description just leans so heavily on this particular flavor of Americana, a classic 1950s vibe.
Oh, absolutely. The quaint upscale stores, the brick-paved sidewalks.
Right, and that wonderful detail about the retro-style pharmacy and soda shop. It's engineered tranquility, a bubble of stability.
And that bubble is immediately threatened by, well, immense chaos. The narrator, Tate, is in town to help a best friend, Oscar, and his wife, Lorena, with their vacation home.
But the town is bracing for this huge event.
The Mask and Music Festival on Memorial Day weekend.
And the scale here, it becomes thematic. This is not a small local fair. We're talking 40 or 50 bands.
With up to 20,000 people attending. That is a massive influx of noise and energy crashing right into that 1950s peace and quiet.
Which explains why Tate had so much trouble finding a place to stay.
Exactly. Structurally, it forces Tate to rely completely on Oscar.
Right.
But thematically, it establishes this huge external pressure. Just as Tate is trying to find stability and recovery, the outside world is about to just erupt into this unmanageable chaos. It's a brilliant way to foreshadow the internal turmoil.
Speaking of things that are difficult to manage, let's talk about Oscar. His backstory is straight out of the American success myth, and it's such a necessary counterpoint to Tate's fragility.
It is. Oscar is the son of immigrant parents who ran a deli in Boston. That background just makes his financial success even more staggering.
His big idea was brilliant, getting franchise rights from all the major sports leagues, NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, to make vintage-style jerseys.
But here's the twist. It wasn't just the idea, it was how he did it. The source says he insisted on meticulous design, making sure the jerseys were ultra-soft and appropriately distressed.
It's that blend of perfection and really savvy social media marketing, especially after rappers and influencers started wearing them.
It just exploded. And it shows his success wasn't an accident, it was earned. He understood the market. He understood quality.
And the payoff.
He sold the company to private equity firms for nearly $1 billion.
$1 billion. And that introduces this fascinating thematic contrast. Oscar has achieved this ultimate external, quantifiable success.
While Tate is grappling with internal, unquantifiable trauma.
Exactly. That kind of extreme wealth creates this isolating environment. When you have that much money, you can solve almost any logistical problem.
But you can't buy your way out of a spiritual or psychological crisis.
And we see that money solves all approach immediately at the building site. This grassy plateau overlooking the ocean. Oscar, trying to manage his 5 young kids, has already installed a massive, what did the sources call it?
A city-size wooden playset.
It's the perfect symbol. He just installs this monument to organize fun on a $1 billion lot.
And we meet the source of all that chaos, Oscar's 5 children, all with names starting with L.
Yes. Leo, who's 7, the twins Lolita and Lakshmi are 6, Logesh is 5, and Luca is 4.
And we have to mention Oscar's truly awful joke about the L name.
Oh, God. Get the L out here.
It's so bad. But it's crucial because it humanizes him. It shows even a billionaire can have some seriously groan-inducing dad humor.
Which his wife, Lorena, this Italian-American dynamo, just handles with practiced patience. The whole family unit is this bubble of managed high-octane affluence, a world away from where Tate is internally.
Right. And this contrast demands that the narrative shift. We move from that overwhelming external world to the quiet, devastating internal landscape of our narrator.
We find out Tate recently finished a stay at a psychiatric facility, one that Oscar tries to downplay, calling it a country club or White Lotus with therapy.
Which is probably Oscar's way of coping, but we know the work Tate did there was serious. The program focused on dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT.
We can't just gloss over that. DBT is designed for people who experience overwhelming emotions. Tate even notes that it emphasizes controlling behaviors over transitory feelings or emotions.
And that's such a critical literary choice. Why DBT? Because our narrator is dealing with this immense destabilizing truth, a trauma they have been trying desperately to ignore.
So the therapy is teaching them to focus on controllable actions.
While the core conflict of the story is going to demand, they revisit an internal, uncontrollable, devastating truth. Tate even admits the therapy forced them to explore some aspects of my life that I'd spent a lot of time trying to ignore.
And the source of that ignored devastation is the mystery surrounding Tate's deceased sister, Sylvia.
This is where the tension really locks in. Oscar pushes Tate to talk about the darkness creeping up, and he specifically mentions the little bombshells your sister dropped right before she died. This isn't just grief. It's a specific, unresolved burden.
And the stakes get so much higher because the medical community just dismissed Sylvia's final statements.
Completely. Doctors suggested she was experiencing neurological anomalies as her organs were shutting down. Basically, they wrote it all off as the ramblings of a dying mind.
And this sets up the core conflict for the entire book, doesn't it?
It has to. Tate's stability, Tate's recovery, it all rests on the belief that what Sylvia said was true. Tate insists, and this is maybe the most powerful line in the chapter, Sylvia never lied to me, which means she believed everything she told me.
It's the conflict between medical scientific reality and this personal, insistent, emotional truth. Tate is carrying a truth that no one else will acknowledge.
That's the burden. That's what Tate brought to Cape Cod.
And before we get to the architecture, we get one last grounding detail. Tate's cat, Polly.
Right. Lorena looked after Polly while Tate was in the hospital. This small act of kindness that connects their two very different worlds.
And Polly is a female cat named after the character in Rocky because she looked like a Polly.
It's a sweet, necessary detail. It reminds us of the small, personal parts of Tate's life that were kept stable while Tate was undergoing this intense repair. Polly, who hid from the five L-named children, is maybe a mirror for Tate, an indoor creature seeking quiet stability amid overwhelming chaos.
So if we pull back, we've charted this whole landscape, from the publishing ecosystem defending itself against AI.
All the way down to the emotional ecosystem of these two best friends. The contrast is just magnificent. You have the superficial perfection of Cape Cod, the billion-dollar safety net, the managed chaos of the family.
All immediately juxtaposed against Tate's fragile psychological state, which is rooted in this devastating, unresolved mystery about a sister's final words.
The whole structure just leverages this immediate warmth and trust to emphasize the potential for everything to break.
So we've established the American dream, the specific clinical approach to trauma, and this dark psychological current tied to Sylvia. The stage is set for something that feels like more than just a drama.
It feels like it could be a psychological thriller. And that leaves you, the listener, with a really important question to mull over, based purely on what we've seen.
Okay.
Tate is now working for the financially secure Oscar, recovering from trauma that's rooted in a belief that a medical institution dismissed the truth. They said Sylvia's death was just neurological failure.
Right.
So what kind of bombshells could be so destabilizing that Tate would be forced into psychiatric care? And, maybe more importantly, how might digging into that critical, ignored truth put Oscar's perfect billion-dollar dream home in peril?
The vulnerability is all internal right now, but it feels like it might be about to become very, very external.